Morning, good morning. Morning, family and friends. Good morning, family and friends. My name is Herbert Fenner, and I am your host. I want to welcome you to Put Me in Coach podcast and YouTube channel, doing something that makes a difference with people who are making a difference at a time, my friend, that makes a difference. And I pray and hope, my friend, that you continue to put God first, and I hope that you are doing well today. Today we have another exciting lesson today, and we're going to talk about understanding your potential. Yes, understanding your potential. Dr. Miles Monroe wrote a book a few years ago entitled Understanding Your Potential. And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about your potential. How many of you know that you, my friend, that you have potential? And not only do you have potential, but you have potential. I have a question for you right now. And that question is, if I ask you if you want this $100 bill, how many of you will say yes? How many of you will raise your hand and say, yes, I want that $100 bill. I can use, that $100 bill right now. Now, what if I took this $100 bill, and I ball it up? I ball this $100 bill up, and then I ask you, do you still want this $100 bill? Many of you will still say yes. Yes, I want that $100 bill. I still need that $100 bill. Now, what happens if I take this $100 bill and I throw it on the ground and I begin to step all on the $100 bill and drag it in the mud? And then I come back and say, did you still want it? You still want this $100 bill that I done stepped on and I done dragged this $100 bill? Did you still want this $100 bill? Many of you will still say, yes, I still want that $100 bill. And the reason that you will still want this $100 bill, it has nothing to do with, me balling the $100 bill up. It had nothing to do with me throwing it on the ground or me stepping on it and me dragging it in the mud. It has everything to do with the fact, yes, the fact that regardless of what I did with this $100 bill, it still didn't lose its value. It's still, my friend, it still has the same value that it had before I balled it up, before I threw it on the ground, before I stepped on it. It still holds the same value. It still has potential. It still has potential. And I just want to remind somebody today that regardless of what you've been through, regardless, my friend, of what you're going through, regardless of you feeling like, sometimes you've been stepped on, sometimes you feel like people have cast you out, people have thrown you away, feel like you have lost your worth and lost your value, some of the choices that you have made and you feel worthless. I just want to encourage you today, my friend, because you haven't lost your value. Your significance, it still remains, regardless of what you've been through and regardless of what you're going through right now. I want you to be encouraged today because you still have value. You still have purpose. You still have potential. And not only do you have potential, my friend, but you have unlimited potential. And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about potential because everything in life, everything that God has created, it has potential. And potential has nothing to do with what you've done already. That's what I love about potential. It has nothing to do with your accomplishments. It has nothing to do, with the books you wrote. It has nothing to do with the degrees that you have. It has nothing to do with the job that you have obtained. It has nothing to do with that. Potential, my friend, has everything to do with the things that you have yet to do. It has everything to do with the things that you are still capable of achieving. That's what potential is. It's those hidden abilities that's waiting to be released because there's more to you than what you already accomplished. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter your location. It doesn't matter your color of skin. It doesn't matter what situation you find yourself in, my friend. Listen, you have unlimited potential, unlimited potential. And what is potential? Dr. Monroe, he defines potential as dormant ability, reserved power, untapped strength, hidden talent, an unused success. It is everything you can be but have yet to become. That is good. That is so good. It has everything. It's everything you can be but have not yet to become. That's what it is. It's that hidden talent. It's that untapped strength. It's that dormant ability that is lying inside of you. It's lying inside of you, and you haven't even tapped into it yet. It's unused success, not the success that you used already, not the talent that you used already, not the talents that you know about already, but I'm talking about the talent that you have yet to tap into. That's what I'm talking about. That's what potential is. Oftentimes, share a story about this archaeologist and how he discovered this ancient tomb. And inside the ancient tomb, there was all these different artifacts that he found within the tomb. And he also found some seeds. There was some seeds that was inside, this ancient tomb. And the archaeologist, he was curious. He wanted to know, I wonder what would happen if I take these seeds that was buried in this tomb for hundreds of thousands of years. They just been lying in this tomb for hundred thousands of years. He said, I wonder what happened if I take this seed and I take it out of this tomb and I put it in a different environment and I bury it into the dirt and I give it nourishment and I plant it by the water. I wonder what will happen to it. So that's what he did. He took the seeds out of the tomb and he buried it near the Nile River. And within weeks, the seed began to sprout. The seed, my friend, it began to grow and it began to produce after his own kind. And you say to yourself, like, well, what was wrong with the seed? There was nothing wrong with the seed. The seed was just in the wrong environment. The seed, it was just buried in the wrong environment. It was in an environment where it couldn't grow. It wasn't planted where it needed to be planted at, where it can get the nourishment that it needed so that it can produce and do what it's been created to do. So within the seed, that was unlimited potential, just like you. You have unlimited potential, but in some cases, we're just buried in the wrong environment to the point where we think that, well, something must be wrong with me. Something must be wrong with me. I probably can't learn. I probably can't learn. I can't achieve nothing. Something wrong with me. I have a disability. I can't grow. I can't be successful. But the truth is, my friend, that's not the truth at all. The truth is, you just may be placed in the wrong environment. You might be around the wrong people. People where you can't grow. People that's not giving you encouragement that you need that's going to help you to grow. So that's why we're talking about, your potential today, understanding your potential, because you have potential. And once again, what is that potential? It's dormant ability, reserved power, untapped strength, hidden talent, and unused success. It's everything you can be but have not yet to become. Not yet. Not yet. And that's one thing that I teach my daughter. One time, she was doing gymnastics. She was doing gymnastics and she was learning how to do a backhand. And she said, Daddy, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I told her, you can't do it yet. You can't do it yet. Never say that you can't do. You just can't do it yet. And you will be able to do it if you keep practicing. And the same principle, my friend, it applies to you. There are certain things that you think that you can't do. And it's not that you can't do it. You can't do it yet. And you will be able to do it when you change your mindset and you begin to understand that it's more to me than meets the eye. When we begin to understand that I have potential. There's some things that's still in me. That's still a fire in me. There's still some dreams in me. There's still some goals and some ambition in me. There's some things in me that I know that I can do. There's some things in me that I want to do. I know you feel it right now. I know you believe it right now. And you can't put your hand on it, but you know that, man, it's something more to me than what I've been doing. It's something more to me than the life that I've been living. And it is, my friend, and it's called potential. When God created everything, when he created everything, when he created the vegetations in Genesis 1, 11 and 12, he said he created everything according to his kind. According to his kind. And God allowing us to know that within everything that God created, God placed the ability for it to reproduce. He placed the ability for it to grow and for it to fulfill its purpose. And you, my friend, you have a purpose. You are like a seed. You are a seed. When you were born and when your father and your mother did what they did, it was a seed. A seed that has potential, and that potential is to what? Produce after its kind. And that's why you're able to have children. That's why you're able to reproduce after your kind. Because there's potential in you. God placed something in you. He placed purpose in you. But you have to know, my friend, what that purpose is. We have to know what that purpose is. And that's what we're talking about, realizing our potential, understanding that we have potential. Everything that God has created has potential. Potential to reproduce, potential to grow, potential to get better. I like what the Bible says in Jeremiah 5, 1 and 5. It says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Now, this means that before you ever existed, God had already placed within us the ability to become great. He said, before I formed you in the womb, I already knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. So you were already in the eyes of God. He said, before you even came into existence in the natural realm, he said, I already knew you. I had already set you apart. I had already given you potential. I gave you potential, my friend. I placed something in you. I placed purpose in you. And it's not your purpose to do nothing. It's not your purpose, my friend, to do nothing. God didn't create you just to do nothing. He didn't create you because he was bored and he had nothing else to do. He didn't put you on this earth for you to not know your purpose. Because you have a purpose, my friend. And I want you to understand what that purpose is. It's been said that the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but failing to live up to the full potential that God has placed within us. That's the greatest tragedy. It's not death, but living your life and not measuring up. Living your life, going through your life, waking up every day and not living to your full potential that God has placed in you. Waking up every day and not understanding your why. Why do I even exist? Why am I even here? What is my purpose for being here? Many people live their life below their potential because they don't recognize what's inside of them. They don't recognize what's inside of them. It's something inside of you. There's something inside of you. There's something that's lying dormant inside of you. And everything, you're looking outside of you trying to find peace and trying to find joy and trying to find success. You keep looking outside of you, but God said, I have given you everything that pertains to life and godliness. He said, I've given it to you. I remember the Prey Group commercial with the tomato sauce. In their commercial, they will always say, "Is in there." I mean, that was their slogan, "Is in there." I mean, everything that you need in a tomato sauce, they saying is in there. All the flavors, all the seasonings, everything that you need, my friend, they say is in there. And that's what I want to remind you today, that is in here. It's in here. Everything that you need It's in there, but you have to wake it up. You have to replant yourself. You have to put yourself in the right environment. Put yourself around the right people who can point out what's in you. People that can help you to grow so that you can understand your purpose. Because you, my friend, you have a purpose, and your purpose is not to just exist. That's not your purpose. Your purpose is not, for people to walk over you. That's not your purpose. But you have a divine purpose, and God created you with a purpose. Let's look at the story of Moses. Exodus 4:1-5, when God called Moses to lead Israel, he doubted himself. He said, what if they do not believe me? That's what Moses said. We know that Moses had a speech impediment. Moses, he said, God, I can't speak well. He did the same thing that we do. He made all the excuses why God couldn't use him. Y'all know how we do. We make all the excuses where I don't have the degree, I don't have the intellect, I'm not the right color. I didn't come from the right family. I don't have the right background. And that's what Moses began to do. He began to try to justify. He began to try to give God a reason why he couldn't go and do what God has called him to do. He said, what if they don't believe me? And then God asked him, he said, Moses, what is that in your hand? He said, what is that in your hand? And Moses had a staff in his hand, and Moses just thought that it was just a staff. But in God's eyes, that staff had the potential to perform miracles. So my question is, what is that in your hand? What is that in your hand? What is it that you already have in your possession? That you already have in your possession. Your potential is not outside of you, my friend. It's within you. It's within you. What do you have in your heart? What do you have in your mind? You already have it. You already have it. You think that you're not enough, but the reality is, my friend, you are enough. You are enough. You have everything that you need to do what you're trying to do. But you first have to recognize what you have in your hand. You have to recognize, my friend, what you have in your heart. You have gifts. That's what you have in your hand. That's your rod. Your talents. That's your rod. Your passion. That's your rod. That's your staff, my friend. You have it. And I know you have it because God gave it to you. He gave every man, every woman, every child, he gave all of his creation a gift. He gave all of us a talent. He gave all of us a measure of faith. The question is, do you know what you have? Do you know what's in your hand? Do you know what's in your heart? Do you recognize your gift? Do you recognize, my friend, your talent? Do you recognize your potential? Do you recognize it? So we're talking about our potential here, understanding our potential. Now let's talk about recognizing potential in others. Beyond seeing potential in ourselves, we must also recognize it in others. Jesus had potential. He had unlimited potential. He knew his potentials. But he also chose his disciples because he recognized the potential that they had. And when Jesus chose his disciples, he didn't select the most educated. He didn't select people who went to Yale and people who went to Harvard. He didn't select the Pharisees and the Sadducees. He didn't select, that's not the people who he chose. He didn't choose the people who had all the money and had all the influence, the most powerful people. But he saw greatness in a fisherman. He saw greatness in a tax collector. He saw greatness in ordinary people like you and I. Like you and I, ordinary people who may not have, all the echelon of prestige and what other people may have. We may not have that. We may not be on that level. You may not have a master's degree and graduate magna cum laude and at the top of your class and graduated from elite schools. And you may not have that. You may not be a part of these elite clubs. You may not have that, my friend. You know what is okay? It's okay for you not to have it because those are not the people that Jesus called. Those are not the people that he chose. He chose ordinary people to do extraordinary things because ordinary people also has potential. Jesus said to Peter in Matthew 4:19, he says, follow me and I will make you fishers of men. He saw beyond what they were to help them become what they could become. That's what he did. He saw beyond what they were to help them to become what they can become. And that's the difference between a manager and a leader. See, a manager is a person who tries to get you to do something that you don't want to do. But a leader is one who inspires you to do something that you didn't think that you can do. And that's what I'm here today, my friend, because I want to inspire you. I want to encourage you. I want to remind you that there are some things that you can do that you just don't think you can do it. And one of the reasons that I know you can do it, first and foremost, because it's in there. It's in you. God put it in you. He gave you unlimited potential. It's in there, my friend. You just got to know that it's in there. It's in me. That's how I know. That's how I know that you can do it. And I know that you can do it because many of the things that we're trying to do, somebody else had already done it. Somebody that looked like you. Somebody that been in same situations as you. Somebody that had challenges like you. They did it. Why can't you? Why can't you do it? When I had some challenges in my life, I mean, I had some serious struggles in my life. I grew up in the projects. We grew up poor. That's how we grew up. I made some poor decisions coming up as a young man. I got put out of school. I was a high school dropout. Yes, I made some decisions that put me in prison for a long time. Decisions and choices that I made, and people counted me out, and people said that you would never be anything. But what happened? God chose me. God said, you know what? He said, what's in your hand? He said, what's in your hand? I said, God, like Moses, I said, God, I don't even have an education. I don't have a high school diploma. I don't have a degree, God. You know, I got a criminal record. I got a background. And God said, what's in your hand? He said, regardless of all of that, he said, there's still greatness in you. There's still purpose in you. And he said, I still have need of you. He said, you're the type of person that I have need of. You're the type of person that I want to use because you're not that smart. You're not that bright. He said, therefore, I can get the glory through you. Yes, my friend. A high school dropout, a criminal record. People counted me out. But I was able to go back to school and get my GED. Yes, get my, not even a high school diploma, get my GED. Then I was able to go back to school, my friend, even with the doubts and the fears, and go back to college and get my degrees. Then I was able to write books. There was a time when I didn't even like reading. I mean, I didn't even like read the book. You talking about writing a book. In school, I couldn't remember a time, where I actually read a book in school. You're talking about writing a book? I didn't like reading books. So don't tell me what God can do. Don't tell me who God can use. Because we're the type of people that God chooses. Because he wants to get the glory through us. But we have to understand that he placed something in us. He gave you something great, my friend. It's in there. So what are some of the barriers to releasing our potential? Because even though God has placed potential within us, there are certain obstacles that prevent us from fulfilling it. One, fear of failure. I mean, we're afraid to fail. And it's been said, nothing beats a failure but a try, my friend. We're afraid to fail. But the thing is this, do you know that failure is one of the key ingredients to success? Let me say that again. Failure is one of the key ingredients to success. You're not going to meet anyone that is successful on any level who haven't failed. You're not. Because it's one of the ingredients to success. John Maxwell wrote a book entitled Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn. No, not sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. Because as long as we continue to press on, as long as we don't quit, my friend, then it's about learning. It's about learning. It's about growing. We grow through our failures. We grow through our failures. So you're going to have some failures. And don't be afraid to fail. Fail as often as you can, but learn from your failures, because that's where the growth comes from. Is when we learn from our failures. We learn from our experiences, because experience, my friend, is not your best teacher. We heard that experience is your best teacher, but that's not necessarily true. But evaluated experience is our best teacher. We only learn from our experience when we evaluate that experience and we learn from that experience and we begin to make different choices and different decisions. Because there was a lot of things that I did and I experienced it, but then I found myself experiencing it again because it wasn't teaching me nothing, because I didn't evaluate it. I didn't take the time, to sit down and ask myself some questions. Why do I keep doing this? And keep it and expecting different results from doing the same thing, in which we know to be insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, but you think that you're going to get a different outcome. But you're not. Because the outcome, it is what it is. The only way we get a different outcome is that we do something different. Do something different. So we're talking about barriers to releasing our potential. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of what? Love and power and of a sound mind. The spirit of fear, God has not given you that spirit of fear. So don't be afraid, my friend, to step out of the boat. Don't be afraid to try something. Don't be afraid to become something different. Don't be afraid to ask the tough questions. Don't be afraid to ask somebody to help me. Don't be afraid to let people know that I don't know and that I need some help trying to figure out my potential. I need somebody to help me to try to understand what is my gifts and what is my talents. So don't allow fear, my friend, to hinder you from becoming all that God will have you to become. Because he has not given you a spirit of fear, but he's giving you a spirit of what? Love, a spirit of power, and a sound mind. A sound mind. The second barrier to releasing your potential is a lack of vision. A lack of vision. We don't see. We don't see. Proverbs 29:18, it said, where there is no vision, the people perish. Where there is no vision, the people cast off restraints. They cast off their disciplines. Because there is no vision. We can't see where we're going. We have no aim. We have no direction. So it's important that we have vision. Where's it that you're trying to go? Can you see yourself doing that which you have a desire to do? You have to be able to see it. You have to be able to see it first. Don't you know everything that has been created, everything that man made, it all started in somebody's mind. It all started as a vision. It all started as a thought. That's where it all starts at. It starts, my friend, with a vision, somebody being able to see it. And then not being afraid to work towards it. It doesn't start with money. It doesn't. It doesn't start with money. The phones and the tablets and the clothes that you have on your back and, all the necessities, the car that you drive, it didn't start with money. It all started with a vision. It started, my friend, with an idea. Majority of the people that start new ventures, they don't have the money to carry it out. People who start a new business, they don't have the money to become successful, but they have a vision. They have an idea. They have something in their mind that God gives them to work with. They have potential and they're not afraid to use that potential. Start, my friend, with what you have. And that is unlimited potential. That's abilities. That's gifts. That's gift. And that's more than enough to get you started. That's more than enough to get you going and leave the rest up to God. Because he's gonna direct your path. He's gonna order your steps. Stop worrying so much. Once again, my friend, what is that in your hand? What's that in your hand? What's that in your heart? What is that in your mind? You keep seeing it. That vision that you have, that passion that you have, that drive that you have. Start right there. Start with that. And don't allow nobody to kill it. Don't let nobody kill your dreams. Don't allow nobody to kill your aspirations. Don't allow nobody to kill you, my friend. Because you have potential. You are a gift to the world. And you have to unleash that potential. God has a divine purpose and he has a divine plan for you. I'm not talking about the person that's next to you. I'm talking about you, my friend. Regardless of where you at right now. You might feel like, I've hit rock bottom. I'm at the bottom of the bottom. So what? It doesn't matter. Start where you're at. Because everybody who became successful, they had to start where they were in order for them to get to where they're at. So you don't start where somebody else is at. You start where you are at. Start where you at, my friend. I started in prison. I was sitting in a jail cell, and with all this time, that's where I started at. And the thought came to my mind was, who am I? That's what it started with me. My life changed with a question that I asked that I had no answer to. And that question was, who am I? And I didn't have an answer. But God did. He began to show me who I was. He began to show me why he created me. He began to show me what my purpose was. And that's a question that some of you may have to ask right now if you don't know, if you're unsure. Who am I? Who am I apart from the labels and the titles that other people has placed on me? Who am I apart from past experiences that I have? Remember, potential has nothing to do with the things that you did, but it has everything to do with what you have yet to do yet. Those dormant abilities that you haven't tapped into yet. That's what the potential was. And even though, I was in prison, sitting in a cell, I had potential. It had nothing to do with the mistakes that I made. It had nothing to do with the poor choices that I made up until that point. But it had everything to do with what I have yet to become. And that's what potential is, my friend. Who are you becoming? The next barrier to release a potential is a negative mindset. Proverbs 23:7 said, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a man thinketh in his heart, if you believe that you can't, my friend, then you won't. If you believe that you're not, then you won't. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. What are you thinking about yourself? What is your perception about yourself? Because we treat ourselves the way that we see ourselves. So if you don't like the way that you're treating yourself, then you have to change the way that you see yourself. If you see yourself as being inadequate, then that's what you'll be. You'll be inadequate. If you see yourself as not being able to overcome and not being able to win, if you see yourself as a leader, as a loser, if you see yourself as a failure, then that's what you will be. Because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. But you can change that. You can change the perception of yourself. You can change your mindset from being a pessimist to being an optimist. You can change your thought from seeing the glass half empty to seeing the glass half full. It's all about your perception and you changing the way you see yourself and start seeing yourself the way that God see you. He said you were fearfully and wonderfully made. But do you believe it? Do you believe it? How do you see yourself? Stop seeing yourself based on your experiences. Remember the $100 bill? Stop seeing yourself based on what you've been through and the bad choices that you made and based on what other people say about you. Because at the end of the day, my friend, your significance, it still remains. You have not lost your worth. You have not lost your value. So we're talking about barriers to releasing your potential. The last one is complacency. Do not be slothful. Romans 12:11 says, do not be slothful in zeal, be fervent in spirit, serving God. Being complacent, being comfortable where you're at. And I know, my friend, God has not called you to be complacent. He's not called you to be stuck. He didn't call you, my friend, to be stagnated. Because you have unlimited potential. There's a lot of things, my friend, that you can do. You're still becoming. And that's what life is about, my friend. It's about you becoming. Who are you becoming on this journey? Who are you becoming? Are you becoming better? Are you becoming stronger? Or are you becoming bitter? Or are you becoming weaker? You should be becoming better. So who are you becoming, my friend? We're talking about barriers to releasing your potential, the fear of failure, lack of vision, negative mindset, and complacency. So how do we reach our potential? By putting God first. We reach our potential, my friend, when we trust God. We reach our potential when we step out on faith. We reach our potential when we refuse to settle for less than what God has created us to be. That's how we reach our potential. Everything in life has potential, including you. You can see the value in this, but you can't see the value in you. So the key to recognize it is we have to nurture it. We have to nurture it. We have to put ourselves in the right environment where we can nurture, where we can be nurtured, and where we can grow. Just like a seed needs soil, just like a seed needs water, just like a seed needs sunlight to grow, your potential needs faith, your potential needs action, and your potential needs perseverance. That's what it needs, my friend. And if you give your potential what it needs, if you give your dreams what it needs, then your dream is going to give you what you need. Your potential is going to give you what you need, but you have to give it what it needs first. Give it faith, give it action, give it perseverance. Miles Monroe once said, the wealthiest place in the world is not gold mines or oil fields, but he said the wealthiest place in the world is the graveyard, because there lies dreams that are never fulfilled, books that were never written, and talent that was never developed. Don't allow your dreams, my friend, to die. Don't rob the world like that. Don't go to your grave with dreams that was never fulfilled and books that were never written and talents that was never developed. Don't go out like that, my friend. You don't have to go out like that. So the question is, will you choose to die full of unused potential? Or will you step into the fullness of what God has placed inside of you? Your journey, my friend, it begins today. And I want you to believe in the potential that God has placed in you. And I want you to take action so that you can release that potential. As a professional coach and trainer, Put Me in Coach, we specialize in personal, professional development and leadership training. Also, as a member of the John C. Maxwell team, which is one of the #1 organizations in the world. in terms of professional development and leadership training. My friend, I'm equipped. I'm prepared to use the talents, the gifts, and the resources that I have to help you to understand your potential, to help you, my friend, to grow, to help create an environment for you that is conducive for growth and development. But you, my friend, you have to take the first step. You have to reach out and say, put me in, coach. I know it's more to me than what I've been doing. I have dreams, I have goals, I have ambitions, I have books inside of me. And I don't want my dreams to not be fulfilled. I don't want the books inside of me to not be written. I don't want my talent to go undeveloped. I don't want to go to the grave like that. But I want to maximize my potential. I want to live up to the potential that God has placed in me. And I want to help you, my friend. I want to help you. I want to come alongside to coach you. I want to come alongside to mentor you, to give you the resources that you need so that you can become great, so that you can become your best self. So reach out to me if you need a coach, if you're ready to get out of a rut, if you're ready, my friend, to change your mindset, if you're ready to challenge yourself, if you're ready, my friends, to live your best life, then I would encourage you to do so today. I would encourage you to do so today. Comment at the bottom, share this video. Go to my website, www.putmeincoaches.com, and all you have to do is say, put me in, coach. I'm ready. Reach out to me if you are ready, if you're serious, my friend, and you can do it. Remember, God is not giving you a spirit of fear. So you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be afraid to step out, but he gave you a spirit of love and power and a sound mind. So we unlocking our potential. This is another series, one of a six-part series that we're going to be doing. And today we're talking about everything in life has potential, even you. I want you to be great, my friend. I want you to be intentional. I want you to be deliberate, my friend. And I want you to know that it's your story. And you can rewrite it if you want to.